Basically, to me, someone who is an atheist is someone that doesn't believe in God. And that's like strictly like my understanding of atheists.
I guess it would be a firm belief of there is no God. Yeah, an absence of God entirely.
So basically just someone that doesn't believe in God, that doesn't believe that there's anything more than just people.
I would probably describe an atheist as someone who doesn't necessarily believe in structured religion, or someone who doesn't believe that there is a God necessarily. So someone who doesn't subscribe themselves to a specific religion, probably.
Simply put, they just don't believe in God. They just, they're with the world in a way that is secular, I would say.
A paper published in the American Sociological Review found that, out of a long list of ethnic and cultural minorities, Americans are less willing to accept intermarriage with atheists than any other group, and less likely to imagine that atheists share their vision of American society. The researchers asked 2 questions. The first was, now I want to read you a list of different groups of people who live in this country. For each one, please tell me how much you think people in this group agree with your vision of American society. Almost completely, mostly, somewhat, or not at all. Out of all respondents, almost 40% said that atheists did not agree with their vision of American society. Out of all groups, which included Muslims, homosexuals, and recent immigrants, the perceived atheist view of America was the least accepted. The second question asked in the study was, people can feel differently about their children marrying people from various backgrounds. Suppose your son or daughter wanted to marry an atheist. Would you approve of this choice, disapprove of it, or wouldn't it make any difference at all one way or the other? Once again, atheists were by far the most rejected group, with almost 48% of people saying they would disapprove if their child wanted to marry an atheist.
Americans are very godly people. Like, we talk about God all the time on TV. God bless America.
That's why religion had like such a bigger factor than like homosexuality or like Muslims, is because like those 2 groups, like regardless, they still like believe in God. And for like many people, that's like at the root of like their existence, is like I believe in God, whether like they practice or they just like subtly like themselves believe in God, or like they don't practice at all but still believe. I think that those people, that's like very fundamental.
The research paper agreed, saying that affirming a religious identity is an important way of being American, a basis for citizenship, and a source of a common American identity. So while America's God-loving nature may explain why the acceptance of atheists is so widespread, it doesn't get to what exactly about atheists is perceived to be problematic. What is it about atheists that turns religious people off so strongly? A popular answer is the internet, and how atheists conduct themselves online.
I've looked on the internet at atheism too, and a lot of it that pops up is like bashing religion, when I mean, those might be the more vocal atheists, but there are people who are atheists who like aren't vocal, who have no problem with religion. And so the more publicized atheists are the ones who are like, religion's stupid, religion's bad, like why would you even do that? But I don't think that's the majority's opinion. I mean, a lot of religious people do the same thing to atheists, but there are a lot of religious people who accept atheists too and see them as people just like everyone else.
Another common theme is that religion provides the basis for morality in American life, and that as non-religious people, atheists cannot develop adequate moral character.
They might not think that an atheist has that same moral compass or conscience that will direct them toward a more moral or holistic approach, but honestly, I'm sure that's not the case with all atheists. You can't say all or none.
You can determine your views on morality from anywhere, really, because you see something and you think that it's wrong, or you have some experience that causes you to gain some sort of moral knowledge. I think that there's a lot of different ways that you could come to understand what they think is right and what's wrong. But maybe if you're raised really religiously, you think that all of those things boil down to a religious basis. And if you aren't raised that way, you understand that they're coming from different places.
So in what ways does the non-acceptance of atheists affect them, especially here at Santa Clara University? It turns out that it's not really that bad, and the people here are quite open and accepting.
I've had a lot of internal awkwardness. I went to Catholic high school and Catholic grade school, Catholic college now. So I went on retreats a lot. And I went on retreats mainly because of the people aspect. You become close with a lot of awesome people and you get to express how you're feeling. But there's always a religious aspect. And so people would talk about their beliefs in God or faith life. And so my freshman and sophomore year, I kind of went along with it. And it just never felt like I actually believed it, pretty much ever. And then my junior and senior year, I realized, wow, I really don't believe it. And so I started talking about that. And in a Catholic high school, it's not super common to be the person who's oh, I don't believe in God, when everyone else is sharing their life-changing experiences involving God. So it's been kind of awkward, but other than that, I don't think I've been treated differently or had any real negative experiences. I think Santa Clara is pretty open and accepting. I mean, there are certain things with religious overtones that kind of make me feel okay, this isn't my thing, but I'll just deal with it. But other than that, I think it's fine. There was one person who kind of tried to, because I was talking about where I am right now, and he was trying to tell me oh, I used to not believe in God, I used to hate God and this and this. And I mean, if you hate God, then you believe there is a God, so I don't know why he said that in the first place. But he was trying to tell me just keep your mind open and you'll believe. And it's no, I don't think so. Thanks for your input, but you don't need to try to persuade me to believe in God.
One thing most people seem to agree on was that it is hard to group atheists, especially since they don't even usually group themselves.
It's they can be classified together because of what they believe, and me and you can be classified together because we both enjoy watching soccer, but there's besides going to a sporting event, there's no place for us to convene. There's just no roof for atheists to fall under. So in that respect, I feel like people that are atheists carry that title individually. And I don't think that people that are atheists feel a part of a group either. I feel they feel they're individuals.
There are no atheist brothers and sisters. There is no, other than the fact that you're atheist, there's nothing really binding you together, because atheists don't have a set of beliefs. So there isn't really that community, which I think isn't the best thing.
Without a real community to serve as a guideline for atheism, everyone interviewed felt that it would be best to judge individual atheists by their actions and character.
Do you think that white people, or do you think that black people fall in line with my vision or society's vision of America? Absolutely not. People need to be judged on their character, who they are, what motivates them, what they do, not based on what they look like or what they believe. Because I believe that people on the inside are good, and they can, each person has their individual talents and goals and motivations that make them unique.
I don't understand why people see the need for God in order to do good. People did this in the name of God. Why do you have to do it in the name of God? Can't you just do it for another person? Is that not good enough? You have to have a bigger reason? No, just do it for other people, because if you have something, in my opinion, if you have more than other people, you have an obligation to help other people.
Turning around the stigma of atheism will not be an easy task. Fortunately, at least at Santa Clara, it seems that atheists are well received, and this gives hope that the future will see atheists more accepted by the wider American society.